Today's January 24th, and we're doing robot and nonsense. I almost said October. My brain just short-circuited there. It's still fall to me.
It's a big gap.
It's a big gap, yeah.
It's weird that it's still fall to you, and we've literally just been brutalized by winter weather.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Nvidia and the new line of cards coming out, and they are promising big things from the budget model, which is all based on the AI upscaling. How have they gotten to where they've gotten?
Turns out there's a big supercomputer in Nvidia running 24/7, 365, improving DLSS, and it's been doing that for 6 years. That is where most of the gains from. The new generation is not dramatically faster than the old generation for all performance, only the AI performance. Like, it's a little bit faster, but the AI frame generation and upscaling technologies is what the new hardware uses because learnings.
It's weird going back to his comments about Moore's Law, where he just says, like, no, the transistors don't matter. It's getting better in other ways. We're fudging it a little bit.
Remember what was the first game to come out with cell shading? What if there's a game that has graphics unlike any other? It's not going to benefit from, and then people are going to be like, boo, this game's not optimized. It's like, but the AI wasn't trained on this kind of artwork.
It's a new thing, and it's like, no, we just regurgitate the same old things over and over because it's cheaper.
It is kind of wild how, like, Wolfenstein kind of looks like Call of Duty, kind of looks like Crysis, kind of looks like, whereas, like, the art style in, like, Far Cry and Borderlands 3, very distinct.
Well, another company that is using AI-generated trash and getting called out on it is Apple.
Apple is pulling its AI-generated notifications for news after generating fake headlines. And also, I love the posts where somebody is, like, breaking up with somebody and the AI summary is just like, whoa, that's harsh, because they summarize it in like 3 lines when it's like 17 pages of text.
So the one that apparently kicked this off was the guy who's named after the plumber's brother. It reported that he had taken his own life.
That was not true.
Nope.
There's only one life he hungers for.
You've just invented a great name for a mini series on TV, The Plumber's Brother's Keeper.
What's the plot?
What's the pitch?
Having to keep, it's just like you're perpetually under house arrest forever. It's like The Plumber's Brother's Keeper.
If that plumber's brother lives in a mansion, you're going to get a copyright strike immediately. It's too close. Now Meta, they've got their Llama product, and it's pretty good, but is it as good as the top cloud providers? Probably not, and that is really making this man mad.
Meta execs are obsessed over beating OpenAI's GPT-4 internally, court findings reveal. Mistral is peanuts for us, and yet it is the focus of all of our attention. Because if Meta is the first with something as useful as general artificial intelligence, they're going to take the prize.
And OpenAI is maybe the closest to that. They certainly have a lot of new things that you're doing, including the one where they will show its work, show you the reasoning. But it behaves very oddly when it does that.
OpenAI's AI reasoning model thinks in Chinese sometimes, and no one really knows why. Not just Chinese, but other languages. It's like, show me the steps, and it wanders into Chinese, kind of like the dialogue in Firefly.
Yeah, so some people theorize that it was because it had a lot of Chinese training data, but then they were pointing out, it also goes into Indian and other languages where it wouldn't have as much training data. So
there have been a lot of also euphoric posts from insiders inside of OpenAI that are working on these models that seem to suggest that the O4 and O5 test models have gotten good enough to tell the difference between AI generated content and like real content, and have also gotten good enough to draw conclusions like from the inference of if A then B and from if B then C, then it can synthesize new useful data based on that is not an hallucination, and so from there it's self-improving, which if true is huge.
But how do you monetize it? You got to get people to buy your stuff, and if you don't have the best one, how are you going to do that?
Microsoft relaunches Copilot for Business with free AI chat and pay-as-you-go agents. Hello, Copilot. I would like help making this PowerPoint presentation. All right, I can do that for you, but it's going to cost $2.37. Is that okay?
And so you can do like subscription, but you can also do where you just like fund, you pay into it and then use it as you go per token. Which actually, that's pretty, the Anthropic version of that is pretty cost effective. And Google is apparently eating their own dog food.
Google reports halving their code migration time with AI help. So Chocolate Factory slurps down dog food and shreds drudgery in specific areas.
So they did some upgrading, and they pointed out that the number of lines of code, oh my God, number of lines of code from human beings is now less than the number of lines of code from everybody else.
But this kind of a code migration thing is mostly like a boilerplate code and looking at something and doing something that's kind of repetitive, but still requires a little bit of brain power. It's like
it was 32-bit. I just silenced you.
No, you didn't. You need to go find the AI settings and do it that way. It knows what you want.
Yeah, converting 32-bit to 64-bit, but they did not uniformly name those variables.
Yeah.
So a human being couldn't just search and replace, but AI apparently really good at that.
It's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. I get it. I'll go do it. It's like an intern.
And maybe one of the biggest interesting things about this AI revolution is that people who are creating it doing these mental gymnastics and trying to convince us that we aren't right about reality and we just need to adopt their view of reality.
CEO of song generating AI app says people don't enjoy making music with instruments. It's not really enjoyable to make music now, according to this.
It's weird because we've been doing it like ever since we invented them.
Even without instruments, like humans are.
Yeah,
musical.
people just sing sometimes.
Yeah. Hum or drum on your steering wheel, like.
You shouldn't be doing that. You should be prompting your AI to sing for you.
What's the thing I've seen all over the place where it's like I was hoping that when AI came, it would allow me to have more time to make art and music and things like that, and less time to spend doing like dishes and manual labor. But now it's taking away making art, and I have time to do manual labor, which I don't really care about.
We're going to need less music and more DoorDash.
It's funny you say that because as I was reading this article, I don't know why the thought occurred to me, but it was artisanship and craftsmanship. So like imagine like your local cabinet maker, like mass production has led to no one makes those kinds of things anymore. It's like I would like, custom crown molding or like my stairs in my house to be a certain way. It's like, no, everything is mass produced. You will get whatever staircase Lowe's sells.
When you live in an older house like you do, that is a problem because it's not built to standard.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, I'm going to have, like, well, yeah, exactly. One of the banister or one of the things on my staircase is broken and has been broken forever. And the local lumber store had a piece of wood that was like, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is the right size. So I bought it. It's different.
Our stairwell down to our basement is a lot narrower than probably what is supposed to be for code. And like, we could probably never easily replace that.
Yeah, you're going to be making stuff by hand poorly.
Yeah,
but
not well.
At some point in the past, that you could have gotten a local person that was maybe not, Bob Vila or New Yankee Workshop level of skill. But now the only people left doing that are Bob Vila and New York, the New Yankee Workshop level of skill, and those people charge through the nose. I need somebody that's like a third of a Bob Vila, not the local cracked out meth person with a circular saw.
Well, we may never see the likes of them again because apparently we're not going to see as many people at all in the future.
Deaths in the U.S. expected to exceed births in 2033. Wow, that's right around the corner.
It's devastating for the economy. I recognize that, but we got to pull that Band-Aid off. We need fewer people overall. And as we get to 2030, we're going to have another big problem.
U.S. annual dementia cases projected to rise by 1 million, or rise to 1 million in 2060. That seems like a lot.
That doesn't seem like per capita. It seems like empirically that's way more than that, don't you think?
Yeah. But in 2030, the population starts to go down, so
42% after 55. See, again, that doesn't seem like a million.
That's misleading, though. It's 42% higher chance of risk. Not for. I was like, 1 in 2 people are going to have dementia, and you read it, and it's like, no, that's not what it's saying at all.
Well, maybe this man will spare himself from that because he is taking a lot of precautions, but maybe he's not doing the research he should be doing.
Longevity obsessed tech millionaire has discontinued his de-aging drug use and at least one drug out of concerns that it aged him.
You can't escape it. Just give in. You are going to age.
So one of the drugs he was taking, he's like, oh, this looks like an anti-aging thing. And in fact, it was an aging accelerator, maybe?
Another paper came out that disputed the first one. And he was like, I've noticed that. What's Kurzweil? How's he doing?
He looks good, but I don't, he hasn't boasted anything about the vitamins or his supplements or anything that he's taking.
This guy's doing the same thing. He starts his morning out with like a stomach full of pills.
You're going to die. Just embrace it. Accept it.
I mean, put it off if you can.
Yeah. I mean, don't go that far. But
And if that existential horror is hard on you, then maybe you can turn to some drugs. But hey, check your drug privilege.
White people should not mess with it. Native American church laments psychedelic cactus shortage. So this is mescaline and some other things. And apparently there's not enough of it anymore because a lot of non-Native Americans are real interested in it.
Gosh, I sure hope nobody takes that stance on, I don't know, electricity or written language.
This is from The Guardian too, so.
And over in Japan, they are a hardworking class of citizenry. I didn't say that correctly, but anyway, hardworking people. That's a stereotype. I shouldn't say that. The one man is, and he's working so hard that he doesn't have time for his favorite hobby.
The Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba is struggling to find time to smoke at work. He's like, we're just too busy. I don't have time to take a smoke break.
Apparently his wife doesn't let him smoke at home. He's the most powerful man in Japan.
It does stink. I mean, I don't necessarily. It's better for his health.
He says that when he's in long meetings, he turns to candy to try it.
Don't we all?
You could do nicotine gum too.
Oh, that's a good point. Here's one that's just like, God, the questions, and none of them get answered. As usual, there's no answers. They don't even know where this woman is. There's no follow-up.
A woman enters an MRI with a plug somewhere, and she ends up in the hospital because it turns out there was metal inside that, and the MRI, it moved, and so she had to go to the ER.
I hate that.
Yeah, that sounds really bad, huh?
Yeah.
Although, isn't that like an all-at-once thing? Because she got through the entire MRI. Like, how uncomfortable was she? Or is it because it was moving? Like
Maybe it didn't immediately, yeah.
What a weird thing. It's just like, all right, I got to do some errands today.
Grab my wallet.
Let me pop this in. Don't want to forget it.
Ugh.
Maybe that was like her tying a string around her finger to remember something.
That's a weird. When you've done it, do you have to go to the bathroom and then deal with it? You're
not going to forget. And I like to put, airline terror stories, and there's none as terrifying as this.
Southwest pilot removed from the cockpit and booked for DUI.
Ooh.
Drinking a little heavily there.
How about any at all?
Yeah, that's concerning. Now, when I've flown in the past, you go to the airport bar and you get a drink. It's like, I don't have to drive. What if you just looked over and your pilot was doing the same thing? I don't have to drive. But he does.
In addition to body cam videos, I love watching court videos because everything's recorded now. Everything goes online. It goes on YouTube. And one thing I've noticed is they love ankle tethers. You got your scram tether, you got your GPS, and there's another one.
There is actually court footage of her on YouTube.
Yeah, and they always go for they don't want to put anybody in jail. They'll do anything they can not to put somebody in jail. I think it's just because these things are very expensive. I think it's just money churn to bring money into the counties because all the fees of monitoring and everything, and it's a meme. Everybody's joking. It's like, oh yeah, another ankle monitor. But she memed to the wrong person.
Judge reassigned after texting my first ankle monitor gag to another judge. But it's weird because you point out in this article that this judge is one of the more lenient judges. It's like 50% of the things that come before her, she's just like, let's not do anything. You're fine. Like,
no,
I don't want to see you back here.
No jail time.
Yeah.
The monitor is the alternative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's it's a release, but a controlled release or supervised release is what they call it. I've read some things. I don't have any proof of this, but I've read some things that some of these judges are like invested in this.
Oh.
And so.
Yeah, the judge that received the meme had a problem with it and reported it, and so she was reassigned.
I mean, it's a little problematic.
I would.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, though. Like, I wonder if they do more of the the ankle monitor release. Is it because like they don't want to have to bother feeding and doing healthcare and everything?
Well, yeah. Instead of costing them money, they make money through the fees.
Right.
And they almost inevitably violate it. So then you bring them back in and you do the whole thing again. And that money keeps stacking up. It's like the whole, if you're rich, then you just pay it and it's done. But if you're not, then it's just sort of a cycle. But some of those people do horrible crimes. So it's like, I don't know. They deserve it, I guess. This lady did not deserve what she got, and this thumbnail doesn't fit the headline at all.
Woman says she got a side of marijuana with her chicken fries at Burger King. The AI has accidentally given us the wrong Burger King thumbnail. This is another incident at Burger King because I too was confused when I read this.
Burger King really just not getting good press this week.
Yeah, moral of the story, don't go to Burger King.
In this case, the manager fired the employee. There was no police report filed, and the WIFR seemed disappointed that there was no police report filed because they were not able to get any more information. And the Burger King franchise manager correctly said, "We have no comment at this time."
I don't think it was malicious. I think it was an accident, right? They dropped it. Because why would you give away your drugs to a random drive-thru? And we had the Johnny Depp one, and then what was the most recent one? Anyway, lonely women, and men too, I'm sure, believe that celebrities are asking them for gift cards. Like they buy into it every single time. I do not understand it.
The Irish Examiner's headline is a French woman who believes she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt was scammed out of 800,000 euros. She divorced her husband also. That should have been in the headline, but it wasn't. And so they had the pictures. I don't know. The pictures are amazing. They're really badly photoshopped.
I think this was a paywall alternative, but I saw the pictures as well. And it was like Brad in the hospital.
Yeah.
And his claim was Angelina had locked all of his money up. And he couldn't. He wasn't liquid. So he was going to take care of this woman. He was going to sweep her off her feet and marry her. But he had to go through this hospital stay, and he was broke. So he needed that $800,000.
And then
she didn't think to check a single gossip sub.
She figured it out from seeing a picture of Brad Pitt and somebody else in public, and she's like, "Wait a minute, I'm being scammed." But it took a while.
Why would you not like immediately just be like, "Let me look up some celebrity news"?
Why would you not have the level of self-awareness to say Brad Pitt would never be interested in me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's several steps before you give someone a gift card like that.
I always wonder that about like the Chris Hansen guys who get busted. It's like, bro, look at you. Why would you think that any young girl would be interested in this? Like, what level of narcissism do you have to have? But some people are completely delusional.
A man convicted for murder may have believed he was a character in an anime scene.
I am the main character.
He appealed, and the jury didn't believe that he was insane. He's just in jail on murder one. But then after like 2 appeals, somebody else noticed, hey, wait a minute. The murder was almost exactly like this scene in some anime somewhere. And he changed his name.
I think the anime was called Bleach. And apparently there's a scene where like they're fighting and, someone does like, 1 million attacks.
Yeah.
And they point out that his crime was exactly that same thing, except it was against a 69-year-old man. So he
not as cool, not as anime cool.
Not another powerful ninja. Well, I mean, I don't know that. Maybe the old man was.
You're gonna get some. I don't know anything about Bleach, but you're gonna get some angry comments from people who really like Bleach.
You know what? I'll take that engagement.
Comment now how angry you are.
I used to live. My commute back and forth to work past a school, and there was nothing more annoying than having to go past during school time because they would back all the way out into the road and just sit there. Just put them on the bus. You're not special. Put your stupid kids on a bus.
North Houston parents question the $1 per minute late pickup fee at an elementary school. School's over at 3. You got until 3:30 to get your kids out of there. It doesn't matter if there's a line. If the teachers have to be there past 3:30, they're going to bill you.
The whole process is just ridiculous.
I always rode the bus. My mom was working till 5.
You should ride the bus no matter what.
I'm trying to think if there's any like other
No.
reason. Usually your parent kept like if you had an appointment, I guess, but
Well, yeah, I mean, in one-offs. But
yeah,
this is
but
daily.
every day, yeah.
This is every day. Now, I tried to look this up because I want to know what these stuff are made out of. I bet they're just made out of vegetable oil.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just a little
probably.
hunk of vegetable oil. Unfortunately, the website, it just says, sorry, because they're sold out. This
Damn
was
it.
a big hit.
Introducing Progresso Soup Drops, the ultimate cold and flu season comfort. Which is just candy. It's just
Salty It's
salt.
Dunder salt.
Yeah. It's
Oh no.
Dunder salt with a little bit of chicken broth flavor in
Ugh.
a gumdrop. Not even a gumdrop form, just like
They make the you can suck on reference over and over. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's a weird, but this is the press release.
Yeah.
This is General Mills.
and I thought this was also in here because we were all sick intermittently
Yeah.
for the last couple of weeks.
I just like weird food
Just
articles.
full goblin mode for like a straight month.
And unfortunately, when we finally get this, you will still not be able to enjoy its meats. Maybe one of the darkest things about your future.
Colossal raises $200 million to de-extinct the woolly mammoth and the thylacine and the dodo.
I don't know what a thylacine is.
Is that like the cat one?
This is in nonsense, but it actually should be in the awesome section. Yeah,
That is
we're going to have
It's like a
pet.
raccoon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need one of those. You know how much fun my cats would have with one of those? Being eaten by it.
This is again Jurassic Park. One of the things he does in the novel, they actually do a miniature mammoth that they're planning on like selling as a pet. But something that they don't tell the investors is that it's actually incredibly aggressive and it hurts itself all the time on the bars and like there's a ton of problems with the genetics.
Wasn't it an elephant in the movie?
Was it? I think it was a mammoth. It was like a baby mammoth in the book.
The memes were all baby giraffes,
No,
but
but
they
there
kept
was didn't they have a
breaking
mini
it.
something in the movie?
Yeah.
A mini elephant
I think so, yeah.
in the movie?
I don't know, maybe I'm
I
hallucinating
don't know. I
that.
think you're hallucinating.
But yeah, they want to bring them back, and they have got a ton of venture capital. People are just throwing money at this. How would you monetize it?
You sell it as pets, just like John Hammond in the hit novel Jurassic Park.
If we're not allowed to have mutant sheep, how is it okay to just have mammoths rolling around?
The cost per unit meat is lower than cow.
How
That's gotta-
could that possibly be
that's
if they're
gotta be-
genetically engineered?
It's got to be a huge feeding investment, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a lot of meat. But if you lose one mammoth to disease, wow,
And-
that's an investment.
And considering like they were in a totally different environment than what we are in modern day, they probably would be really prone to diseases.
Also, you've seen those pictures from the 1800s where it's just like, the 4-story high pile of like bison skulls. You got to figure that for those kinds of herds to be naturally occurring, what was the rest of the ecosystem like that pre-overhunting that was just there?
Yeah, it was just like a land of plenty.
We've certainly ruined that.
And finally, I like to try to end on a happy animal story if I possibly can. And unfortunately, this one turned out to be, I thought this was going to be like, oh, the squirrel was scampering around and everybody's having a good time. That's not what it was.
The squirrel went full a Christmas vacation. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The squirrel causes Boulder County School to go on secure status on Tuesday because there was a series of pops. And it turns out the squirrel got somewhere it's not supposed to and popped some very large electrical fuses.
We assume losing its life in the process.
Yeah.
The squirrel may have been vaporized.
It smells like squirrel meat in here.
Is that
Someone's been
squirrel
cooking.
gravy? What's going on?
So they lock it down. What a testament to our society that a squirrel just falls into some sort of relay and they have to lock the school down.
Yeah, it's just
There was a loud noise, a couple of loud noises. And it's like,
Can't take any chances.
Yeah, I mean, dark, very dark.
we will see you guys for another week of hopefully not dark news, but
Oh, come on.
probably a little dark as usual.
Is some revolution going to happen between now and then?
We're gonna be so happy.
Is the Trump inauguration going to change everything?
Yeah. Just immediately, just everything's better.
A perfect world. The robots will no longer be able to be trying to take our jobs. They'll be helping us.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.